I was numb and speechless after witnessing this one of a kind encounter of a frail mother with her dominant daughter and her two grandsons. One last time, in the heart of the land she once ruled, Rajbagh. This is a heartfelt tribute to that mother. Arrow. What a tigress she was. Powerful, determined, nurturing, and endlessly brave. The soul of Ranthambore. A queen, a warrior, and a mother like no other. A legacy forever. Arrow.
Arrow nahi mili. Unfortunately, I really very badly wanted to see Arrow. I can't wait to come back. This time especially to see Arrowhead. I don't know, my heart is stuck. I just hope she sustains. I know it must be really painful, but she is a fighter with such big tumor also. She's been walking around, keeping her cubs well. All my heart and love to Arrowhead, and I really hope that I can see her when I come back in June.
With that hope in my heart and a silent prayer, I reached Ranthambore on June 6th. That very afternoon, we headed out for our first safari in Zone 3. And just at the entrance, we saw him, Arrow's male cub. We moved ahead towards Rajbagh, and we saw Riddhi with her two boys, resting peacefully on an island. The jungle seemed still. The afternoon was slow, quiet, and lazy. Then came an update that changed everything. A whisper. Arrow was on the move, in that very zone. Without a second thought, we left Riddhi and the cubs. After all, I hadn't returned for safaris or sightings. This is why I had come. For her. For Arrow. My heart raced. I so desperately wanted to see her. And I did. Just barely. Walking slowly through the tall grass. She looked fragile and weak. Each step slow and heavy, like a struggle. But she was heading straight towards the island, towards Riddhi, towards her grandsons, towards a part of her past. I panicked. What if there was a confrontation? Riddhi is now, after all, the dominant tiger of this land, with her male subadults by her side. Would she perceive her frail mother as a threat? Would the subadults charge at her? But what unfolded was something else, unexpected, beyond my imagination. A glance, a pause, and then acceptance. Riddhi's boys reacted briefly, alert but not aggressive. Arrow lay down, just a few feet away from her daughter's family. That was something profound. It was the quiet confidence of a mother who knew her daughter, the one she had once raised, the one she had stepped aside for. Arrow trusted Riddhi with her life. She knew she wouldn't be met with claws or growls, but with grace and dignity. And Riddhi honored that trust. In the wild, mercy is rare, but this was rarer. They all slept. I sat there in silence, watching, letting it all sink in. A storm of questions filled my mind. Did Riddhi understand that Arrow was no longer a threat? Did she see the weakness in Arrow's body? That she had returned not to reclaim the territory but to rest, to say goodbye. After all, this lake, this island, this entire kingdom of Rajbagh, she now called her own, once belonged to her mother, to Arrow. And when she was still at her peak, she had walked away from it, gracefully, without a fight. And maybe that's why she was allowed to return and rest. That there was nothing left to protect except dignity. Riddhi chose that and peace. She controlled the energy around Arrow like a guardian, not out of fear, but out of respect. She kept her cubs away. She watched their every move, monitoring every twitch and turn they made. She snarled and growled, not at Arrow, but at her own cubs. Not in aggression, but as a warning. A command to stay back, as if she was saying, let her sleep. The island held them all, predator and protector, mother and daughter. No fight, no fear, just trust, respect, and peace. Till the end, she ensured they didn't disturb Arrow. And when the time came, she stood and walked quietly behind sleeping Arrow. The cubs followed her. The entire family moved towards Padam Lake, and that was the last time they were seen with Arrow. Riddhi didn't return to Zone 3 for the next 2 days. It was perhaps her way of saying a respectful goodbye. This entire encounter shook something deep in me. The next day, I wasn't in Zone 3. I was in Zone 4 in the morning and Zone 2 in the evening. And in both safaris, I saw Riddhi, away from her mother, who was resting in Zone 3. But my heart stayed in Zone 3. It felt like Arrow had returned to Rajbagh, the home of her glory days, to breathe her last. Most tigers do that apparently. I feared it was over, that I had already witnessed the last of her. And that any moment now, the heartbreaking news would come. That evening, the news came that shook us all. Arrow had killed a large marsh crocodile, all by herself. I was stunned, ashamed even. She proved us all wrong. While we were writing her off, quietly preparing to mourn her, she was writing her legacy. Another roar with a loud message. I am not done yet. In that frail body, she still held a fierce spirit and an unimaginable strength to make a kill. The next day, I saw her again. She lay by the lake, her belly a little fuller. And for the first time in many days, even my heart felt full. over the next 2 days, she remained there, and I saw her again and again. Each time, her eyes carried a fire that felt almost unreal, eternal. She stayed. I watched in awe and silence. Today, as we continue to mourn her loss, it's also a time to honor the legacy she's carved, not just in life, but also in her passing. Arrow was born on March 23, 2014, in a litter of 4 cubs to Krishna T19 and Star Male T28. She carried forward one of Ranthambore most celebrated and storied bloodlines. After all, she was the granddaughter of the legendary crocodile hunter Machli. She was named Arrowhead for a distinct arrow-shaped mark on her head, a perfect identity sketched by nature itself. But it wasn't just the mark she bore that defined her. It was the identity she created beyond that. Her heart, her spirit, and her unyielding will that made her truly unforgettable. Though born into legacy, Arrow wasn't born into power. In fact, they said she was the weakest among her siblings. Only now do we fully understand what a warrior she was from the very beginning. Her rise to power began when she challenged her own mother to claim the most coveted territory in the heart of Ranthambore. In doing so, she became the undisputed queen of the lakes. She had 4 litters over her lifetime. The first, in 2018, ended in a tragedy. Later that same year, she gave birth to Riddhi and Siddhi, fathered by T86, who himself died a brutal death in a human-animal conflict on 3rd November 2024. Though she was still in her prime, Arrowhead graciously left her beloved lake territory for Riddhi to take over. Her 3rd litter, in 2021, was again lost early. Her 4th and last was a litter of 3 cubs sired by T120. At the same time, her daughter Riddhi had 3 cubs with T120 again. But Riddhi had age, health, and a prime territory with lakes and high prey base by her side. Arrow, on the other hand, was struggling with a grave illness. Some said it was a tumor. Others said damage to her hip that happened during a crocodile hunt she had attempted. The truth remains unknown, as tranquilizing her for tests wasn't an option because she had cubs to raise. Her condition made it difficult for her to make frequent kills. The forest department did what best they could, occasionally providing food. It was controversial and debatable, but it was also necessary. The department played their part, but truly, it was Arrow's own will that kept her going and made the survival of her cubs possible. I still remember in June last year when Riddhi had walked down Nalghati fully aware that Arrow and her cubs were in that area. We couldn't see much or capture anything significant, but the tension was clear. At one point, Arrow let out a powerful roar as Riddhi went too close to her and the cubs. It was a clear warning. Riddhi backed off, respecting the boundary Arrow had fiercely drawn. That single encounter we witnessed is only one of the many challenges Arrow must have faced to keep her cubs safe. In the wild, cubs learn survival skills from their mothers, and how to successfully hunt is one of the crucial lessons. Arrow's declining health hindered these learnings, yet her cubs still managed small hunts and showed promise. But as they grew older, they probably began associating humans with food. It's most likely that this unnatural proximity resulted in tragedies. On April 16th, a 7-year-old boy was killed near the gate of Zone 3, allegedly by Kankati. The incident took place when the boy was returning from the old Ganesh temple located in the fort. In a few weeks, on May 11th, a forest ranger was killed, again reportedly by Kankati, this time inside Zone 3 near the gate. On May 15th, she was seen outside the core in a private property, following which she was tranquilized and released in an enclosure. Arrow, who was already extremely weak, was seen venturing all the way to the helipad outside the park, calling out, perhaps searching for her missing daughter. She seemed shattered at the sudden disappearance of her precious cub. On the other hand, due to public backlash that blamed the family's feeding for these conflicts, the department stopped all food support. On 9 June, when I was heading back home from Ranthambore, we got the news of another tragedy. Arrow's male subadult killed a guard near the fort, and by the next day, he was tranquilized and relocated. Despite the darkness, Arrow continued to live, to survive. On June 14th, she accomplished one final feat, unbelievable for her skeletal frame. She took down another large crocodile. The entire wildlife community was taken by storm as she continued to inspire even in her weakest state. The spirit and strength she held in a body reduced to mere skin and bones was unfathomable. On June 17th, her third and last female subadult cub, though not involved in any conflict, was captured and sent to Ramgarh Reserve as a precaution. That same evening, Arrow was seen one last time by tourists near Padam Lake. It didn't look like she had eaten anything at all from the previous kill. It was heartbreaking to see Arrowhead in this condition. Every step seemed like an effort, but it was very clear she was holding on to her life for something. She took a few slow steps before settling under a tree. On June 19th, her daughter Kankati, who was captured first, was taken away from her birthplace and released into Mukundra Tiger Reserve in an enclosure. Hours later, Arrow's lifeless body was found near Padam Lake, in the very land she once ruled and loved. That day, it was not just us. The jungle cried too. It may be a coincidence, but more likely it was something deeper. A mother letting go the moment her closest child was truly beyond her reach. It was as if the invisible umbilical cord was cut, and Arrow just lost her will to live. She fulfilled her ultimate role of a devoted mother before finally bidding her last goodbye. Her death felt nothing but poetic. She fought the hardest battle for 2 years, through pain, through hunger, through doubt, not for herself but for her precious little ones. She carried on with her head held high in the most difficult circumstances. She mothered them with unmatched grace and resolve. But in a tragic twist of fate, those very cubs were eventually relocated in 3 different tiger reserves, Dholpur, Ramgarh and Mukundra, where unfortunately they will stay in enclosures. Arrow, what a tigress she was, powerful, determined, nurturing and endlessly brave. The stories of her courage, grace and strength will echo through the lakes and forts of Ranthambore. I never meant to get attached to another tiger. But when it's someone like her, how do you even guard your heart? How do you stop yourself? She, who has left an indelible mark not just on me but countless others. Some who've had the fortune to see her, many who simply felt her presence from far. This video was a humble and a heartfelt tribute to her. Arrowhead, the soul of Ranthambore, a queen, a warrior, and a mother like no other. A legacy forever. Arrow.